Favorite hire for me?
Yeah.
Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin. I think so. I think it was the right time for him to jump there. I think it's a program where he'll have a bigger profile, be able to recruit better than what's been there. And I think he's a player development guy. Like I think he's created NFL talent, what he did at Cincinnati. And I think he'll crush it at Wisconsin. Now the question is, crush it may not look this like they might not get to the Big Ten title game every year when they go away from divisions, but I think he's going to crush it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if he cracks into that Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State territory. Occasionally he will, but I don't think it's going to be like a perennial. There were some years where they had a nice stretch of Big Ten title runs. They get beat, but they still got there.
Yeah. You think he's capable pretty much of like putting Wisconsin where Wisconsin had been before it kind of started to fall off the last few years, where it might not be Ohio State or Michigan or whoever the best team in the conference is on a year-to-year basis, but it's always going to be up there with the best teams. It's going to be a perennially ranked kind of team going to big bowl games. And maybe in a great year, something special happens and they pick off a conference title.
I also think the fact that he's bringing in Phil Longo to run the offense, like, let's see if you can get it done in the cold. If you can, can you bring that out to Wisconsin? So I'm excited from that aspect because if it works, maybe you can shake things up and then you can take it to that next level.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing about that hire to me, because there's a history of that offense not working very well in the Big Ten, and especially at Wisconsin, where the one thing that state and that region kind of produces with regularity are not the typical offensive linemen that play in those offenses. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. I think that, with the transfer portal, with the way things are nationally recruiting now, it probably won't be as big of a deal as it had been in recent years, but it's still going to be interesting to watch.
Does Fickell have the war chest or the support? One thing we talked about in terms of his exit from Cincinnati was feeling like they were good at player evaluation, getting in on guys early, but then losing those battles late in the recruitment. Bud, do we think that at Wisconsin he's going to be able to have access to more resources and unlock some of that on the talent acquisition side of things?
I do. Yeah. Remember last summer, didn't Wisconsin make a play for Caleb Williams?
Yes.
Too? Like I think Wisconsin has leveled up its name, image, and likeness program some. I think NIL, or rather the lack of it, was one of the driving factors for Fickell leaving Cincinnati and going to Wisconsin. In addition to the fact that, sorry, Cincinnati fans, but history kind of shows when you join a new league, more often than not, you take the check, you take the losses that are coming. So his stock was probably going to drop in the near term at Cincinnati a little bit, even though I think we had all really appreciated what he had done when Cincy was at G5. So yeah, I think Wisconsin will be a bigger player in NIL, and they have to be if they want to compete in the new Big Ten, because that offense didn't always work. The fact that it didn't work in the Big Ten West, put that thing in the East and see that leads to more blowout losses rather than just close losses.
Yeah, I saw a note from ESPN's David Hale. He's a huge fan of the podcast. He was mentioning the most results by 21 points or more in conference games. The Big Ten, far and away. Some of it, they got 14 teams, but so does the ACC, so does the SEC. The Big Ten had 23 conference games decided by 21 points or more blowouts in 2022 in the Big Ten than anywhere else. I love this comment from William in the chat watching us live. He said it's his least favorite hire because it scares him as a Minnesota Golden Gophers fan. Bud, what was your
fraudulent
favorite?
Ass Gophers.